In the Quartz Chronograph segment, a rare treat is the Gigandet Red Baron Chronograph. I really like what the brand did here. The vintage-inspired chronograph is not a design we see too often. The case has a traditional coin-edged bezel, a polished onion-style crown, and rectangular-style pushers. The Red Baron line is named after the legendary World War I ace who pioneered aviation combat in his all-red Fokker DR-1 triplane. Manfred von Richthofen was the highest-scoring ace of the First World War and a true knight of the sky. In terms of its size, the dimensions are proportionate to the style of watch that we have here. An aviation-style piece is meant to be on the larger side, and while this reaches 45mm, it doesn't have that big watch type feel on the wrist. I paired this with a handmade strap, adding plenty of vintage charm to this piece. The lugs stretch from the case, looking like a pair of snake's teeth. The touch of red really tops off the dial in my opinion. Here we have an attractive 2-register dial with luminous markers, with a red and gray telemeter scale. Note how the chrono hand sweeps and lines up perfectly with the scale, a detail sometimes overlooked by watches in this Quartz Chronograph segment. It's a true chronograph, with a 60-minute register at the 9 position, more than what the average person would need. In my opinion, having 2 registers for a chronograph is perfect. It keeps the dial simple and not too busy. A watch I would compare this to is the Dan Henry 1939 limited edition chronograph, which is a watch that's on many people's to-buy list. The hands rotate smoothly, and I wish that the register hands were done in the same fashion as the minute and hour hand. It would really add a more vintage appeal to it. On the back, you have that Gigandet design with a screw-down case back. The chrono second hand operates in a micro-stepper fashion. This is an attractive watch to look at. Perhaps it's the contrast of colors combined with that vintage chronograph appeal. Sometimes you find yourself running the chronograph out of fun rather than out of necessity. It's a solid piece that doesn't disappoint on the wrist. And I hope this video did not disappoint as well. Like and share if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.